time, huh?
You didn't do your
The first
normal,
6,
like,
I
life
did
is-
not
How
because
does it go?
life is hard. But let's all learn to find the joy. Welcome to Finding the Joy with Keturah and
Coye.
yeah. Yeah, listen, we've been talking about these early years.
Yeah.
All of these early years. And you mentioned something earlier in our conversation about the first 6 months. You were acting.
Yeah, that actually slipped out. I didn't think we would talk about that,
Mm.
but it slipped out in our previous conversation. And
Mm-hmm.
you said, oh, we'll talk about that next time. And so I think people who were listening were like, oh, I wonder what happened.
Exactly.
Because people are nosy like that.
They are because first you're gonna have to watch the previous episode to learn why we got married as young as we did.
Yeah.
Then the last episode we were talking about just
The challenges and
difficulties. And now this conversation has kind of just flowed, which normally they do.
They do.
We have not met a point of tension yet, but we may today.
You mean in the podcast, actual talking?
Yeah. Just talking right now. We haven't met points of tension yet.
No, we haven't.
Because I'm sure they're going to come. And if you would like to see it, then you need to watch more. So let's get into it. We were talking about getting married young.
Yeah.
We were talking about the difficulties. And then you brought up, we didn't think we were going to make it after the first 6 months.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about why we were not going to make it.
Well, I think you need to start that conversation.
I will start it again.
Because I was fine. I didn't know we were in such bad condition.
Yes.
Until you made that very clear.
Yes.
And so you should share why you were tripping.
Okay. Okay, we're going there. All righty. Oh, okay.
Because you were tripping.
Oh, okay, let's talk about it. You're either going to be Team Coye or Team Keturah. So let's talk about this. Okay, so we got married young.
Yes.
You got to watch one of the first episodes to know why. We were in college. I uprooted.
Well, I was in college.
I was too.
You were working.
I was at Kalamazoo Valley Community College, sir.
That was after we got married.
It was after we got married.
So like, you said you were uprooted.
I
so you're talking about before we got married.
Sure.
Right. So let's. I was in college. Oh. You was at home with your parents.
Ooh, this man right here. Okay. I was working full time making money. You were broke running around the track at Western Michigan University. So let's clarify that. I was driving a brand new car. You were driving a beater. And I was uprooted with my new car to Kalamazoo, Michigan, which, by the way, the demographics for Atlanta, Georgia and Kalamazoo, Michigan are vastly different. So I am uprooted. I get plugged into your life. I am not the sun. I am a lamp. Several in a room.
You're a piece of work. That's what you are. That's what you are. That's my new thing for you. Right? You are a piece of work. I just want you to know.
I am, but I pay well. Okay, so we are now newly married. We did what Paul wanted us to do. We honored the Lord. And then here we are. Like within the first month of marriage, I had a vision of how it was going to look. You were going to go to class. You were going to go to practice. You were going to come home. I was going to have you all to myself. And lo and behold, I had to share you with a lot of people because you were, even though you hadn't been ordained as a pastor, you were a licensed minister and you wanted to save everybody and help everybody. And so that first month was a rude awakening because I didn't have you all to myself. As a matter of fact, people called the house needing help. You had a mentee who we spent time with.
Yeah.
And you just had overall Coye's world. Coye's world. I was just a squirrel. trying to get a nut. So I was in Coy's world, right? We did have discussions. We had some arguments where I was like, you're never home. I feel like we're not getting any time. And you would say often what? Do you remember what you would say to me?
I would say I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to school. Track was like my job. After track practice, if someone said, hey, can you help me out with something, or I got a problem, I've been fixing problems for people since high school.
Yes.
Like, and you knew all of that.
I did.
Yeah.
I just thought at some point your office closed.
This is ministry.
Yeah.
Right? The office does not close.
Oh, it closes. They say Jesus on the main line, not Coye. Tell Jesus what you want. Okay. It says call him up. Okay. Jesus, not Coye. So they was calling you on your main line because we didn't have cell phones. Okay. Wasn't email. We had dial up plugged into the wall. It was slow. Okay. So you were out saving people.
Oh.
You were out ministering to people. You were doing all the things.
And let's be clear about, because I wasn't like on the corner.
No.
Preaching to people. I wasn't at a homeless shelter, soup kitchen. I wasn't doing any type of organized ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Just as an individual, being on campus. And even to this day, I look at my life as a spectacle on display before people. And as I live my life, spectacle. Like, people are watching you. People are at times discerning things about you by watching you move and how you talk and conduct yourself. And then you got to be there for people if they need you or if they invite you into their space because they're troubled with something.
Sounds a lot like Jesus. Just saying. Okay. All right. He's ever present. So, yeah.
So again, ministry for me was just, hey, you go to class, you do what you're supposed to do, but in the process of doing those things, you're going to meet people, come in contact with circumstances or situations, people involved in those things, and you offer yourself as help, or if they would like your help, then you show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to mention, you were just working delicately at times around the campus too. So, you were out being Coye, just saving everybody and being there for everybody. And I'm like, Coye, what about me? And you would often say, yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I would say, no, what you're supposed to be doing is me. Like, come home. Me. Come home to your wife.
I was home every night. I would come home in between classes.
You would.
After class, before practice. So it wasn't like we weren't seeing each other. It was just my day. There were certain things about my day that were scheduled. Class, practice. No way around that.
That was true.
All right. And
then you put in a whole bunch of people and their needs. Sometimes we would be sitting on the couch, and if someone called and said, oh, Coye, I need to talk, he would leave. Or he would be like, oh, I got to take this phone call. And I'm like, listen, tell them to call Jesus. He is available 24/7, right? So
this is a college campus. It wasn't even a Christian school. It was
not.
So
it wasn't, but still, like, you didn't have a cutoff time. So if it went for 4 to 5 hours, it would go 4 or 5 hours. So in that, I know y'all Team Keturah, he was not available like hours. I was sitting there watching TV by myself.
I just wasn't available as often as you expected me to be.
To who?
To you.
Oh, that's true.
Right. I mean, so.
Because you was available to everybody else, no matter the time. And then got the nerve to come home, and I start talking, and he want to fall asleep. And then got the nerve to look at me and then say, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm tired. Yeah, you said that often.
Because I would be tired.
Yeah. Then stop expending your energy on people. So here we are a month in. I'm realizing this is not going well. Like, he is not getting the message. And then add on top of that, like, you had an ex-girlfriend, and then you had somebody that you kind of liked, that, or you didn't like them, but who you had liked. And so we almost kind of would see each other. And then you just add in that where I was just like, Coye, seriously. and you got me around. Ex-girlfriend is here. And I was like, oh my gosh.
But these
this
were
is
all
for the
people you
birds.
knew about, so it wasn't
That
like
I
you were
did.
surprised.
I
Like,
did.
It's not like you showed up as my wife and like, oh, and your ex-girlfriend is here too.
I
Keep
did
in
not.
mind, I went to Western because of that ex-girlfriend.
You did.
Yes.
But then add to that, yes, it was very lonely because I didn't have friends. Like all of your friends were established before I got there. So it was just a really lonely time.
Yes.
And me trying to tell you, hey, I'm lonely. And you're like, I don't know what you want me to do. We got married. And so now, I mean, one time I remember you said to me one time we were talking about it and you said, listen, my life didn't change. And I thought to myself, yes, it did. It changed. But I'm like, okay, I am not the sun. I am just the lamp. And so what I said to myself is, then self, since he got his life, you go make your own.
You know, Jesus says that we should not like make ourselves important because God has a way of humbling us. Solomon talks about when you go into someone's house, invited as a guest, don't try to sit at the head table.
Right.
Because you don't want to be then told, oh, no, you don't belong here. Go back to this other table. Sit at the lowly table and then be, invited to the head table.
I was invited.
No, you
head
just
table.
said you thought you were the sun.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, that's part of the problem. You should have started off as a lamp. Then that way you'd have been elevated at least to maybe like a light and you would have felt better.
Wow. I really want to see the comments on that one. I do. Yeah. Do a snippet of that. Just that. And let's see what the comments will be on that one, sir. So I decided to make my own life.
Yeah, because keep in mind, we got married in December.
We did.
We got married in between my school semesters.
We did.
And so in January, we're back on campus. First month is going by. You're realizing all these things. I'm just kind of thinking this is normal. This is what it's going to, make sense to me. I'm going to school. I'm going to track practice. I'm trying to be a husband. And
save people.
Yeah, I'm trying to also do ministry because it's what God has called me to. And I'm going to eventually do this the rest of my life. And so this is all part of the package. And so 5 months in.
Yes.
We're at that point in my track season where campus is shutting down and we live on campus. All the track team has moved into the same dorm.
Yep.
The women are on one side, we're on the other side. You end up coming back home you come back to Lansing.
I wanted to stay in Kalamazoo.
Yeah, you wanted to stay in Kalamazoo, but my scholarship money only covered the rent.
Till May.
And so it was easier for us that first summer, in my mind, to both move back to Lansing and to stay here for the summer. But that meant that you had to go before me. You couldn't stay.
Say it into the camera.
Now that I'm saying this sounds really bad.
No,
please. It sounds really, really bad. So you had to come back home to Lansing, an hour away.
I didn't have to. I got sent.
You got
sent. Go ahead.
And so I stayed on campus, to which later I found out you thought part of me sending you away.
Hey, that's another episode. Keep going to what you did. Okay, stick to what you did.
What did I do?
You sent me to Lansing.
Oh, okay. So, you came to Lansing, and I'm on campus for another month running track, and you would come visit me. But you didn't visit a lot.
I couldn't.
Like, looking back, no, you could have. You just didn't. Because at this point, you had made up in your mind what you had made up in your mind, which
that's right.
You can share what you had made up in your mind.
I had made up in my mind that since Coye was going to do Coye, then Keturah was going to do Keturah. So I'm going to make a life for myself. So I'm hanging out with friends. Yes, I was going to the club. I was going to parties because I'm like, he never wanted to go. He just wanted to sit on the couch, but then let him get a phone call and he leaves me. And I would think I could have went to the party. I was 20. I still wanted to go to the party.
You were a pastor's or a minister's wife.
So. I was a college age student. I wanted to party. Okay. I wanted to go dancing. I wanted to hang out. And he's like, I'm tired. So, yes. So I decided when I came home, all my other friends were single. They weren't married. So I'm hanging out.
Because home now was where we grew up at. We grew up together in the city of Lansing.
So I was hanging out.
And by the time I got home, first part of June, because season came to end like last week of May, first week of June, I come home, I'm all excited. I'm like, man, no school, no track. We get to finally kind of just, have that newlywed time together. Finally. And you want no parts of any of that.
I wanted none.
Yeah. I mean, you are hanging out every night.
I am. I told you to keep yourself busy like you have been the past 5 months. I mean, keep it going.
We were staying with my mother.
Yep.
So we're staying with my mother, and for the summer, and you came home late. I would be sitting up waiting, looking pitiful, hoping you would come home. I remember the night you asked me, could you go to the casino with your girlfriends?
Okay. Pin in that. It was Tyrese. Okay. He was going to be singing at Mount Pleasant. I wanted to go see Tyrese. We were broke. I didn't have no money to gamble, but I had $25 to go see Tyrese.
So she wanted to go see another man while I'm sitting at home wanting to be with her, and there is nothing now infringing upon us spending time together.
You could have came to see Tyrese too.
With you and your 3 friends?
Hey.
Single friends.
Just saying. Okay, that's fine. But keep going.
Boy, I tell you what.
All right, so how did it all culminate?
It culminated with you and I having some really hard conversations. And at one point in time, you looked at me and you said, I know that what I'm doing is hurting you. And as you said that to me, I thought, okay, cool. You said, but I kind of don't care that it's hurting you. Because when I was crying for attention and your time, you didn't seem to care.
That's right.
And so now I don't care that you want to be with me. In fact, even though it's hurting you and I know it, yeah, I'm kind of just watching you suffer. And I'm okay with that.
Because I had suffered for 5 months.
But I was unaware of your suffering.
Okay, that's fine. We'll go with that. So then what happened?
So we're in the parking lot of a middle school. Elementary school. Talking. And we're just going back and forth arguing. And I finally look at you. Because I can't believe you're hurting me on purpose. Like, this is hurting me. I've shared that, and you're still choosing to hurt me. And so I look at you and I say, you know what? I'm going home to my mama, the only woman who loves me, because I grew up in a household where my mother would never intentionally do something that she knew was hurting me. She might hurt me, but when I was like, you're hurting me, she would stop. Like this. So for a woman who says that they love you to just be crushing and stepping on your heart intentionally and watching you suffer, that's just ridiculous. I thought, no, I didn't sign up for this. I can go back home. I can.
Now, to be fair, you had been crushing on my heart, and I thought you had been stomping on it willfully.
Yeah, I was unaware.
Yeah, okay, we know that.
Yeah, I was unaware.
But back then, it felt like I am literally crying for him. Like, spend time with me, and he's like, "What do you want me to do? I'm busy." So, okay, and I called you back.
You did. As I'm walking away. It's dark. I'm walking away.
You were walking home.
Yeah, I was, because we were in your car.
That's right.
We had driven your truck to this place to talk, and so I was walking home, and I thought, I cannot believe my marriage is over. It's only been 6 months. I'm a preacher. Ministry's over. I mean, I'm gonna be a divorce. It's over. But it didn't take you 10 seconds.
Well, first of all, I couldn't believe that you said you was going home to your mama. I'm going home to my mama. And you said the only woman who ever loved me. And I chuckled and I said, Coye.
Yeah.
And then you turned around, what? And I said, come here.
That was probably one of the greatest, most joyous times in my life where I heard someone call my name.
Yeah. That's so sweet.
Well, if you knew what I was thinking as I was walking home, like, this is over. I can't believe it. Oh, my goodness. I failed, yada, yada, yada. For you to have just told me what you were intentionally doing, and me just not being in a place where I could even fathom why that was happening, and me just walk away and you call me back. Honestly, it saved our marriage for
Yeah.
sure. So
Yeah.
probably one of the most joyous moments of me hearing my name being called by someone. Even though we were in the midst of, very critical
Oh.
moment in our marriage. I don't know that we've had a moment as critical as that one.
Mm-mm. No. No.
And we've had some things happen that were probably considered worse than that. But
Yeah.
that was probably the one time where I think I really thought it was over.
Yeah.
And I've never had a moment in our marriage where I thought, "Oh my goodness, this is over."
Yeah.
That was the one moment, and it happened early. And I think probably happens early in most marriages where you think we can't make it.
Yes.
And if you can somehow get through that, then you can have a whole lot less of those moments moving forward.
I think if you can call your spouse's name, I think it has such an impact, because I remember in that moment thinking, when you said you were walking home, I remember thinking, this is not what you really want. You do not want him walking away. And I don't think that's unique to us just because we're young.
Yeah.
I think in a lot of times when in married couples, when they are having intense, hard, difficult conversations, in the back of their mind, they're saying to themselves, I really don't want my spouse to walk away. I don't want to walk away. But pride rises up, and it keeps you from calling your spouse's name. It keeps you from saying, come here. And I think we just hugged. I think I hugged you.
Yeah. Well, you said something. I forget what you said. What did you say?
I don't remember either. I just remember hugging you.
And I think we did hug. But I got to tell you, when you called me back, 'cause I remember that very vividly. I remember coming back, but I also remember your next word, whatever they were kind.
Yeah.
And it assured me in that moment that we were going to be okay.
Yeah. Because I wanted you.
Right. And I think that's what it also assured that she still wants me. Because
absolutely.
for a moment I was feeling like she don't even want me anymore. Like,
no,
this is over. So
I wanted you.
And I think knowing that you were willing to let me know that you wanted me then allowed me the freedom to be vulnerable again because I wanted you too. And that was never in question for me. I was questioning if you wanted me, but I was never in question about did I want you. And so, yeah, in that moment, whatever you said next, whatever you did, you allowed me to not be vulnerable because I knew you wanted me to.
So then in that hard spot, would you say that's how you found the joy?
Yeah, I would probably say realizing that, yes, she's still, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
She still wants me. That was the joy in that moment then. I think the joy today is recognizing today moments like that in a young marriage, whether you're young or we'll say more seasoned.
Yeah.
A young marriage needs to have moments like that because part of the joy is you stand on moments like that in your future together.
That's so true. Yeah. I think the joy in that for me in the whole first 6 months was me realizing that, number one, Coye does love you, but then number two, having to remind myself that even though I, on the flip side, was intentionally trying to hurt you, it was only because I thought you were trying to hurt me. And getting to the realization of our goal, we're not waking up trying to hurt each other. We really are trying to wake up and find the joy of the day. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's how we're still here, because I called you back.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Say one time you saved our marriage
I
in
did.
24 years.
I did. Almost 25.
Good job, Keturah.
Yeah, thank you.
Because the rest of them belong to me.
You know.
Right. Well, we'll give the Lord a little bit.
See, there we go. Now he back to being Jesus. Okay. Wow. Yeah, we made it through that.
We did.
That's good.
Well, thank you for joining us on today. We hope that in these times together, we are not only inviting you into our space and our life and our marriage, but also helping you to do what we have tried to do over the years, which is to find the joy.
Until next time.